My name is Tamon Johnson. I'm going to teach you about technical coordination. For athletes to dial in on their athletic performance and athletic potential, they have to have an understanding of technical coordination. Athletes also have to create an emphasis on their sport-specific qualities through technical coordination movements. Many coaches think athletes just need to utilize short ranges of motion movements or speed movements in the weight room, when truly they need to do technical coordination movements like the clean, or the snatch, or any full body explosive movement to help really maximize their athletic potential and their on-the-field performance. These exercises in the weight room can change through various speeds and various loads, which ultimately can allow the coach to hit the exact speeds that they want their athlete to hit, which can then be transferred onto the field. Before diving deep into technical coordination movements and exactly what they are, we must first look at the sport, the position, and the type of athlete that you're going to be working with. Along with the energy system being used, technical coordination movements are Olympic weightlifting movements like the snatch, the clean, the jerk, and also variations of those movements. Reflexive movements are also technical coordination movements like a snatch to a hip lock, or a dumbbell snatch, or any type of hydro weight movements. With any open skilled sport, an athlete needs to be able to react quickly and be also able to produce a lot of force in a high amount of time to be advantageous in their sport. Performing exercises like the power clean, the power snatch, the split jerk, all those movements require athletes to apply a lot of force very quickly and then be able to apply that same amount of force in those movements and then transfer that over into their sport. Reflexive movements require a lot of dynamic trunk control, which is needed when you're moving quickly on the field, whether that's cutting or jumping or doing any type of fast movement that requires you to stabilize the trunk and then move the limbs around that. The issue with many technical coordination movements are coaches are unwilling to teach them. They might see them as difficult to teach, or they don't have the time, or they just don't have the knowledge to learn so or to do so. So really the athletes are now relying on themselves and their natural abilities to get them through their sport. When really you could be using movements in the weight room like the clean, like the snatch, like a hydro weight, like a plate snatch to a hip lock, something like that, to then allow the athletes to really blossom with their natural abilities and movements in the weight room to complement those. So that when they get on the playing field, everything starts to line up a lot better and they can really be able to transition using their trunk, being able to cut off the ground or on the court in an advantageous way. So now they're more successful. And the coaches, if you actually take the time to teach those movements, you will then be surprised by athletes when they actually perform a movement that really can show that they have a high amount of power output. They have a high rate of force development that then can be transferred from the weight room onto the playing field. Regardless of age, with any technical coordination movement, the focus should be on the form and the technique. So Garage Strength, we use dowel rods to initially teach the Olympic lifts like the snatch, like the clean, like the split jerk. And then when you're utilizing reflexive movements, you use a light plate like a 5-kilogram plate to initially teach how the body is supposed to coordinate a different movement. With simple progressions, it's very easy to transition from a dowel rod to a light barbell and ultimately into the 20-kilo barbell if you're dealing with a male athlete. Regardless of the age, whether that's middle school, high school, collegiate, or professional, technical coordination movements should be utilized in their program from day to day. Like I said, they're very simple to follow, very easy to teach and to learn, and you're gonna see the biggest bang for your buck if you're utilizing a technical coordination movement, because an athlete is able to utilize their natural abilities, their natural force development, and then increase those by applying a lot of force through these different movements and also utilizing dynamic trunk control movements to then move themselves in different planes of motion, which will ultimately be transferred onto the playing field. The best thing about technical coordination movements is that they can be used at the beginning of a workout, and they should be used at the beginning of a workout because an athlete needs to be able to focus in on what they're doing. These movements are very difficult at times, but they also require a lot of neural connection from their brain to their bodies. And so you do those at the beginning of a workout because that is when an athlete is the freshest and they're able to fully focus in on the task at hand. This same thing goes for reflexive movement. They should also be done at the beginning of a workout. Just like a simple warm-up exercise, and they're moving their bodies in different planes of motions and different spaces, and they're able to co-contract their muscles to be able to apply forces when necessary and at certain times. When loading for technical coordination movements, they can typically follow the force velocity curve. So if you're in the off season, going between 70 and 80% for many Olympic weightlifting movements will typically suffice because an athlete is able to move a moderate load at a high speed. Versus when they're in season, they can do a power snatch between 65 and 75%, for example. They can get the exact same speed, strength outcome that you're looking for during that peaking time of the season. A reflexive movement like a dumbbell snatch to a box or dumbbell snatch to hip lock can also be used as a technical coordination movement for dynamic trunk control and athleticism. Ultimately, every athlete should do technical coordination movements because it forces an athlete to move a heavy load or a light load at speeds that are necessary that's going to transfer from in the weight room onto the playing field. If you want more content like this, remember to like, subscribe, and follow our app at peakstrength.app. And remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you always have to cultivate your power. Peace.